So I'm just getting caught up with all the bullshit going on in the industry right now, and I see that a new interview just came out with Nicolas Pouard, who I think that's how you pronounce it, the VP at Ubisoft Strategic Innovations Lab, and the man leading the charge on Quartz and Digits, which is, Ubisoft's NFT platform. And this interview is an absolute joke. I'm going to go through it all here. Leave a like on the video. It helps with discoverability, and subscribe for more content. I cover everything from multiplayer FPS to industry news. My name is Big Fry. Shout out to all of the supporters who subscribe to me over on Twitch or are a YouTube member. You guys are financially contributing to this channel and allowing me to do what I do. So this interview starts off by saying gamer feedback to the Ubisoft Quartz and Digits launch has been generally negative. What has the feedback told you about the prospects of mainstream NFT success? Now, for those who don't know, the Ubisoft Quartz video was actually unlisted on the Ubisoft YouTube channels because it was absolutely destroyed with dislikes and comments just shitting on the entire thing. Gamers, for the most part, do not want NFTs to invade gaming like all of these companies keep trying to push, because there's yet to be an example of where it actually benefits the gamer in a real use case. That's what everybody has an issue with. This is all just bullshit experimentation on behalf of making more money for the companies, and there hasn't been a real use case. Taking a helmet from Ghost Recon Breakpoint and using it in another Ubisoft title has A, yet to been shown, and B, could be done without the use of blockchain tech. But his response to the negative feedback, he says it was a reaction we were expecting. We know it's not an easy concept to grasp, but Quartz is really just a first step that should lead to something bigger, something that will be more easily understood by our players. That's the way we think about it, and why we will keep experimenting. They'll keep releasing features and services around this first initiative, and they believe that piece by piece, the puzzle will be revealed and understood by our players. We hope they will better understand the value we offer to them, and that's really what I just said. There's absolutely no value to the player to have a stamped helmet. It's just so stupid. The interview continues. You spoke in your presentation about improving the relationship with players. If that is your goal with Quartz, it must be quite frustrating to see the feedback you've received. And he says it's part of the process. I would say it's a reaction we are accustomed to. It's pretty bad that Ubisoft is just ready for hate at this point. Maybe take a look at that a little bit further. He says, I think it's great because it shows how engaged our players are and how passionate they are about their hobby and gaming in general. And looking at that, I think it's reassuring somehow. It shows that our players love what we do and loves Ubisoft's ability to offer good games, so that's cool. The mental gymnastics to be able to take the hate from Ubisoft Quartz and translate that into that players love what Ubisoft does and their ability to offer good games, when most of the franchises that you guys are releasing nowadays peaked over a decade ago. When we're talking about shit like Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, and then we get the flash in the pans like Riders Republic, which is here one day, gone the next. The fact that this interview comes out at the exact same time that Hyperscape gets shut down, y'all are batting a .1. Aside from my rant, he goes back to say, still, obviously we are a bit frustrated, yes, but I think overall it's okay and it's something we can really understand. We so strongly believe that what we're doing, obviously with Quartz and Digits, goes in the right direction. So we will keep integrating, obviously listening to what our fans are telling us and how they're telling us as we go, so we can also adapt what we're doing and where we're going. So that's the next move, to make sure what we're doing will make even more sense to gamers. Why wasn't that done at the beginning? This whole industry is built on ship the shit now and we'll fucking fix it after we get the feedback. The interviewer goes on to basically says, well then let's talk about making sense of it. What do you think is a big positive that gamers are missing about what NFTs like Digits can offer them? And this is the question that I keep asking when it comes to NFTs invading video games. Where's the positive for the gamers? His response is that he thinks gamers don't get what a digital secondary market can bring to them. For now, because of the current situation and context of NFTs, gamers really believe it's first destroying the planet and second just a tool for speculation. But what we at Ubisoft are seeing first is the end game, The end game is about giving players the opportunity to resell their items once they're finished with them or they're finished playing the game itself. So it's really for them. It's really beneficial, but they don't get it for now. Gamers on PC have been doing this on the Steam Marketplace for years. It has nothing to do with harming the planet. It has nothing to do with a tool for speculation. It's the fact that we see companies going into this space only to make more fucking money on items that aren't going to matter. Do you really think that once Ghost Recon Breakpoint loses all of its player base, that if I owned a helmet with a stamp on it, that I'd be able to resell that? Who's going to find intrinsic value in owning an NFT for a game that's dead? So when we talk about the fact that it's beneficial for us, the whole thing is built on a house of cards. It's the reason why we look at things like Earth 2 and we say that the only way you can make money is if you trick somebody else into thinking that your little fucking tile has any sort of value. The value of all of these items is only that value if somebody else thinks it is. And we're telling you in droves that this isn't valuable to us. And you know this because a month ago a report came out that Ubisoft Quartz has made less than $400 from 15 sales and likely lost Ubisoft thousands in minting fees for these stupid items that hold no value. Especially in an ecosystem like Ubisoft where they churn games out year upon year upon year. If somebody were to come to me and tell me that if I completed a legendary raid in World of Warcraft, one of the hardest fucking things that you could possibly do, if you were to get like a Mythic Plus, and then there's a weapon that has a drop rate of like 0.2%, and you get that drop, and that drop is tied to a platform like Ubisoft Quartz, where it actually requires you to grind and grind and grind, and then you could take that weapon and then sell it on a marketplace and make real money from that. And it wouldn't work in a game like World of Warcraft because after a while the raids become easier and easier and easier, and then people can just farm and run and run and run. You need to come up with the perfect strategy, the perfect game, and the perfect platform to be able to have any value in any of this, and Ubisoft just isn't the company to do it. He goes on to say that it's part of a paradigm shift in gaming. Moving from one economic system to another is not easy to handle. There are lots of habits you need to go against, and a lot of your ingrained mindset you have to shift. It takes time, and they know that. The interviewer asks the question, do you think you would have been better off launching Quartz without mentioning NFTs or blockchain if you had just launched a new platform that offered gamers something new without exposing them to the underlying mechanics powering it? He says, actually, we tried in a way. That's why we named them digits. We considered not speaking about the technology, but we know our players. They would have known digits were NFTs, so we decided it would not have been very smart to try to hide it. Our principle is to build a safe place and a safe environment with Quartz. Okay, what the fuck does that mean? So we need to be transparent on what we're doing. Somebody else then jumps in and he comments on it and he says, one of the first concerns gamers have when it comes to blockchain is its impact on the environment and the energy it consumes. And while that is a valid concern, that isn't what is on the forefront of most people's minds. We just see this as another way to get money from players. It's another greedy tactic being pushed on us by the corporate overlords who want to just keep making more and more fucking money by putting out mediocre products and monetizing the fuck out of it. That's what this is. I keep my PCs on all the fucking time. I got 4 monitors running. Like, let's be honest here. I'm old enough to watch the early days of this industry from where it started to where the fuck it is now. And what we saw was exclusive DLC with maps and weapons and stuff that locks players out of content. You guys got pushback on that. You changed it. We saw the loot crate and the battle pass, the season pass. We've seen the monetization models for these games just keep stacking and stacking and stacking. The innovation in the way that these companies can monetize us is incredible. They're so creative in getting money out of our wallets. But what we've also seen is the products that they're tying the monetization to are getting worse and worse and worse. And we see this as just another cog in the wheel that you're using to fucking milk us dry of everything that we have when it comes to our hobby and our passion. Make better fucking games, and this probably wouldn't be an issue. And the interviewer actually addresses that in the next question. He says that it's not just the environment I fear. A lot of feedback I read suggested gamers view or fear NFTs being the new microtransactions or the new loot boxes. Are they right or wrong? He says, well, first, players are always right because they are our players and we love them. Players are always right. We love them. They feed us with copper coins. He's such a fucking robot with the response. But your observation is correct. The first point I would say is that digits are fully optional. It's something we built outside of the game's economy, so you can use Quartz or you can choose not to use it. It's really a matter of personal choice. But we just know that it is eventually going to work its way into the ecosystem of all of these games. We know it. Guys, we're not stupid. He doubles down on this and he says, at no point will we force our players to use Quartz and digits. And I want you guys to stamp this shit, download this video, keep it on a hard drive, because I guarantee you, if this were to take off in the future, that they will be implemented into everything that we know about Ubisoft titles moving forward. If there is money on the fucking table, they're going to do everything in their power to get it. This next bit is it's just ridiculous. The question posed here, one of the big beliefs tied to blockchain is decentralization, about taking power away from big corporates and putting it in the hands of the consumer. So looking from the outside in, I question instantly the value of decentralization for a company like Ubisoft. How is decentralization good for Ubisoft? And he goes on to say, the question is really about player engagement and how you share an ecosystem with them. When you look at the valuation of just Ubisoft, the company, it's over $3 billion. But the whole ecosystem of Ubisoft products is valued at more than $15 billion. As such, the interest in decentralization for a centralized company like Ubisoft is to open the gates for our games and to make them bigger by sharing a stake with our players, to build new experiences that are on top of what it is in each game to date. It's a new way to see what a game could be. I don't want to go into numbers, but owning a percentage of a huge ecosystem might be even more interesting than just owning a game today. I'm sorry, as I know it's difficult to understand right now, as this kind of idea doesn't really exist yet in gaming, but we see that the ecosystem for a game can be much, much bigger than what a game is today. He makes it sound so enticing and inviting. Guys, you could own a stake of this $15 billion ecosystem. Are you a shareholder? No. Then you don't own shit. You own a helmet. And it goes on to say, the most cynical feedback I've read from gamers has pointed to this all being a ploy to line Ubisoft pockets with more money. But you see it being about creating a deeper player engagement experience. And he says, yes, the model of play to earn is about allowing players to make their own money by adding value to the whole ecosystem. So it's not just about Ubisoft. He brings up the fact that Stalker 2 was implementing NFTs and then reneged on it when they saw the backlash. He asked, how does it make you feel? What was your reaction? His response was, it's saddening to see there's still some resistance based on misunderstanding. But I'm not sure we can really compare what Stalker 2 was trying to do with what we're trying to achieve with Quartz. It's not the same use case to the players, I would say. He is right that it's not the same use case, but both use cases were fucking stupid. The interviewer asks, do you see a future where the majority of Ubisoft games, if not all games, are tied into Quartz and digits in some way? And he says, we're actually a very decentralized company already. We let each project's team decide if they want to have digits or not, so it's completely open. The interviewer then says, but obviously the Tom Clancy games would be a first point of call. Guy just laughs. They literally wrote that he laughs. Potentially. Yeah. At the end of the day, this is my opinion on it. I think that if a company can come with a proper use case to show that NFTs could be good in their project or their platform or whatever it is, great. I'll be here standing by waiting to see it properly implemented into a AAA experience, because right now, everything that we have seen with NFTs invading into our hobby and our passion has been nothing but a joke. My name is Big Fry. I want to know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. And while you're down there, leave a like on the video. Subscribe for everything industry news, AAA, indie, multiplayer, FPS, and everything in between. I want to give a shout out to all of my supporters who make it happen. You guys subscribe and support on a monthly basis, and you allow me to rant about stupid shit going on in the industry. And if you guys do want to be a part of that, you can hit the join button below this video and support for only 99 cents a month. And it allows me to continue to do what I do in this weird little crusade for holding people in this industry accountable for their words and their actions. My name is Big Fry. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.